Namaste and welcome to Wise Our Career Guide. Today we have Mr. Sunil Rampur with us, who is working in a role of business development in a very niche industry. Let's hear from him what has his journey been like. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, Neha.
Good morning. So, sir, before we get into the niche of your industry, what has your educational background been like?
So I come from a commerce background when I did my high school, uh,
Okay.
and then I moved into management through my BBA, which was done in international management.
Mhm.
I did try to pursue an MBA, but I had to leave it midway because I got a very niche job while working after my BBA itself, and
Okay.
so I just couldn't get enough time to focus on the MBA, which I kind of think I should have focused more on that. But then in last couple of years I've tried to update my skills. So by the end of 2020 I finished executive management development program from
Okay.
IIM Calicut, and
Mhm.
I still have certain programs which I am planning to finish by end of 2023.
Oh, wow. So, as you mentioned, you got your first job while, just after finishing your BBA. What was the first job?
It's quite a funny story. We were out somewhere. I met a gentleman, and he was for Gainesville, Florida, US, and we met at a bar, and he was looking for someone to look after his Indian operations. It was
Okay.
start from the scratch. We spoke a lot. Next day, the formal interview happened, and then the job was offered to me. And then we had to set up the company, the IT. It was more like an e-commerce firm, and it was supposed to be a back-end office in New Delhi.
Okay.
So, and then of course the timings were in the US shift. So that
Oh,
kind of collided with my sleep cycle. So the MBA took a back seat, but the job was very good. I think that guy was more like a mentor to me. I worked almost 7 years in that company, and there was no
okay.
looking back after that.
So after this e-commerce stint, what was the next, role that you took on?
So I started working for my present firm in 2011. The firm I work for is Luxfer. I
Okay.
got a reference from a friend of mine because this company was looking for someone with a defense background. Because
Mhm.
the products that we manufacture was mostly being catered to the armed forces and other government agencies. So I just went in for an interview, even though I didn't have a defense background, but I was always very passionate towards defense, and
Mhm.
I had like grown up within the friends and family circle, the defense persons around, and you can say
Okay.
it was quite a passion for me to join also, but but I just couldn't. So I cracked the interview. Most of the questions they asked were mostly about the geopolitical situations or our eastern and western borders. So
Okay.
quite comfortably, the interview went very well, and I grabbed that position. And I think it's been a tremendous journey from past 11 years.
So, sir, what is the kind of work that is expected in a business development role?
So business development and sales are kind of similar for me, I would say, because before you start doing sales, it is business development which takes over the process. And
Mhm.
it was more business development would be more like setting goals, developing plans for business, revenue growth, researching, planning, implementing new target market, researching prospective accounts in target markets. You have to pursue your leads and moving them through the sales cycle, setting
Okay.
goals for the business development for the teams, developing strategies for these goals, training, business development. These sort of things is what you expect in business development role.
And when we talk about the industry that you are in, it is even
Mhm.
more niche compared to any other business development role. So,
Right.
how does that make it more difficult or easy to, get into business development? Because obviously your client list is much more, smaller when it
Right.
comes to.
Well, the client list is smaller, but the business opportunities outweigh almost all the other industries, because defense and aviation is quite huge. But you are right in a way that the market is small because you mostly cater to the government armed forces, defense forces, and other aviation firm. It can be military aviation, it can be civil aviation.
Right.
So quite a niche industry, of course. It is. The industry offers an incredible range of jobs for you, right from technical to management to ground. There are a lot of back-end jobs which goes like if a plane is flying, whether it's a military aircraft or a civilian aircraft. So apart, you only look from a perspective of pilot, but we have to understand you have radar technicians, you have ground staff, you have radar controllers, you have ATC. So
Right.
it is actually a niche industry, but the jobs it offers has a variety of sectors, variety of roles into it, one which can expect to join in.
Sure. So, sir, when we talk about this particular industry and we, look at freshers who want to get into the industry, what are the kind
Mhm.
of, educational background that is sought for anybody wanting to join in sales, business development, or even marketing for this sector?
A lot of scopes. I would start with certain keywords for you which can help you with what all people can join in. You have engineers, you have robotics engineer, telecommunication engineers, you have biologists, biochemists, biophysicists, geoscientists, atmospheric
Okay.
scientists, meteorologists, radar and sonar technicians, robotic technicians, satellite technologists. So
Right.
diversified field of like even doctors and surgeons are required in this kind of industry. I mean, apart from defense and aerospace, we also cater to the space industry. And when someone thinks of space industry, the only thing that comes into mind is astronauts. But
Right.
one country would hardly send not more than three astronauts. So that's only three jobs. But all these keywords that I gave you, they have immense potential because one spacecraft that goes, they probably have thousands of people working in the background for that
Right.
mission to go successful. So all these keywords that I gave to you, like they have tremendous opportunities, and space is one of the growing industries, especially in India. I think from past 4 years, if you see, there have been so many companies, private startups that have joined in. I think just 2 weeks back, a company in Hyderabad called Skyroot, they launched India's first private rocket, and now they have huge
Okay.
potential going up. There are so many space companies in India right now. I would say more than 10, 15 who are growing this market. And anytime you go and look at their career section, they are always in
Mhm.
need of people.
Okay. So this was the technical aspect, or the technical educational background that people wanting to get into this industry require. But when we talk
Hmm.
about the sales part or the business development part, what are the kind of soft skills, the management pass outs would be expected to have to be able to join?
Well, the first thing that company looks after is your sales skills. That is the foremost skill
Okay.
that they look after. But then, of
Right.
course, communication skills is most important. Like you yourself said, it's a niche industry, so communication plays a very important part. The
Right.
language has to be impeccable because there's a lot of technical stuff that is required and the kind of people that. Then, of course, your marketing skills is something very important. You need to have the business intelligence skills, project management skills. They are just
Okay.
soft skills which any salesperson require. Like for me, I
Hmm.
would say for me, business development and sales are probably the same part. It's just a
Okay.
different terminology which company depends company to company, but end of the day, a business development person is expected to bring some sort of sales, whether directly or indirectly.
Right. Okay. And sir, what are the kind of, salaries that are there for freshers? Is it at par with all other sales jobs, or does this have a little higher salary expectations?
Expectations are always higher when it comes to salary. Everyone has a high expectation,
Right.
and which is not a bad thing to have. But compared to other industries, this would probably, I would say, 10 to 15% higher is what you
Okay.
expect, because again, it's a niche industry, and then they expect some sort of skills from you, which
Hmm.
has to be a bit more technical. Even if it is a management job or business development board, some sort of technical stuff is required. So yeah, the salary expectation. But once you grow, like I said, this is a growing industry, and a lot of things are quite new. Like you don't hear quite satellite technologists, robotic technicians. These are the
Right.
upcoming jobs in these kind of industry. Even in defense, you need a lot of coordination with the satellites. It's not only the aviation or the space market. The salary, I think once it goes, it goes. I think if I give you a ballpark figure of something around in US market, it is around $90,000 a year. Not for professional, but someone who's on a mid level, you can easily expect
Okay.
$90,000 a year. Since this is an upcoming industry, the space sector was only ISRO, and it was a government defined salary packet for those people. But in private sectors, it's hardly been 3 4 years that the industry has grown up. So the salary is still not like formalized, but you can expect
Okay.
a very good salary in this kind of industry.
Okay. And so, what would be your one tip to freshers for being able to, make a successful career? What is that one thing they should always keep in mind?
Well, keep your communications intact. I mean, that is the most important part of these things. Uh, you have to be what do you call a passionate buff is the right word. Like I don't have a defense background, no, I don't have a technical background, but I was always passionate about the planes. Like plane spotting is one of my hobby. So certain
Okay.
sort of technical skills were required for that part. So you have to be so like if you want to go to space, at least have some sort of background knowledge about space. Like you should do your own research, and or if you want to go defense, you should also know what are the geopolitical situations happening, what's happening on your eastern border, what's happening in a western border, that kind
Hmm.
of thing. So this is very important for you, and one should not hesitate to ask questions and adopt professionalism, think forward. These
Okay.
are something that someone can expect.
Sure. Thank you so much for joining us today, sir, and sharing an inside view of this industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Neha. Thank you so much for inviting me. Looking forward for the video.
So that was Mr. Sunil Rampur sharing with us his journey of how he, never got to finish his MBA and still managed to find space and make a mark in an industry which is very niche. From his journey, I hope you learn and understand that you need to be passionate about the work that you're doing. It's only then you will increase your learning and your understanding of the space you're working in. At the end of the day, whether you have a technical background or not, what any employer wants to see and know is whether you understand the industry that you're applying and working in and you're ready to learn and grow. The jobs in the aviation and defense industry are on a high with private players entering the market every day. There is going to be huge opportunities in this field, technical as well as non technical. It is up to you how well you want to play in the field, is what will help you succeed. I hope you got something out of this video. If you have any questions, do write to us in the comments below and we'll get back to you. Also, do like, share, and subscribe the channel. Thank you.